Welcome to another episode of Raven Stories. Thank you for listening, and I hope that so far you've been enjoying some of the stories that you've heard. Today's story is from Hayley. Hayley is an immigrant from the Philippines, and she moved here with her family, which is a different dynamic than some other immigrants. I hope that through Hayley's stories and personal anecdotes, you can think on some of your own family stories and experiences. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Bye.
And all these topics that I was unfamiliar with were brought up. I became more questioning, and I'm more aware, and I'm more like, who am I here, and what kind of person am I, and how am I going to be, like what kind of values would I want. Hello.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
I would like to learn more about your story and how or when you immigrated here and how that has shaped you and your family so far.
Yeah, so my name is Hayley. I immigrated to Canada in 2010. I was about 10 years old when we came here, and I think when the difference between myself from when I was 10 and to now is like really, really different, and like my outlooks, beliefs have changed like over time just living in Canada, considering it's such a good diverse community here, like all like you said, all the immigrants, all the different cultures, they kind of like expose you like really well to like various cultures here, and it's so fascinating to see like how different it is from like when you're coming in from your home country, where it's like where everything is like the same, and then here is like different because everyone else has like different values, different cultures. So you meet a lot of people that are like their perspectives are so different.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which country do you come from?
I came from the Philippines, up Manila, Caloocan City. Yeah, I don't know if I butchered how to say that. It's been a while since I've said that name. It's so it's so weird to like speak. It's so weird though, cause like I speak in my mother's tongue at home, which is Filipino or Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Yeah. So it's so strange to speak it out loud now. It's not that like I'm afraid of speaking it, but it's more of like because of the way it's spoken and like the little nuances, it's so different that like my tongue isn't used to saying stuff in that like specific language anymore. Yeah. I find that a lot of Filipino immigrants, they start off like having like a Filipino accent, especially like young Filipino immigrants. They start off like learning, being able to like speak their like mother tongue, Tagalog very, very fluently. And then when they come to Canada, it's kind of like because of like the exposure from school and like daily life, they start kind of like forgetting how to speak it, and then most of the time it's just like English, and then more English.
Till now, do you speak Tagalog with your family?
I mostly speak Tagalog with my family. But the thing is, they will speak to me in Tagalog, but oftentimes I will reply in English. But like that's the thing too, because my Tagalog isn't as advanced as theirs. So some of the words that they say, I don't understand it. Then I'll have to like ask them like, is that this in English, to like confirm that I'm understanding them correctly, which is bothersome. But like also like I'm also learning new words from my own language because I never learned them as a kid.
What made you decide to tell your story?
I think for me the reason why I want to tell my story, like my immigration story, is because like it's just not told enough. I mean, there's considering it's Winnipeg, a lot of the immigrants here are Filipinos. So I find that we all have very similar stories, but there's always like the key difference, like of just because of like how we're like raised, how we're born, how we're like raised by our parents, like environment wise. Because when we came here to Canada, we were sponsored by my auntie who was already like living in Canada. So starting off, we already had like extended family here, which made our journey for within Canada much easier. Yeah. So I find that my experience can definitely be very very different for people who came here without like family or without like the knowledge or without like the people that could give them like tips and advice on how to like assimilate into the yeah.
Don't be too weird.
Yeah, because like this my mom got a lot of advice from my aunts and my uncles because the values in the Philippines definitely would not be the same here. So having mentors or peers that had already experienced living in Canada made it so much easier for my mom to like kind of learn that some things that we did that were taught to them in the Philippines wouldn't be kind of acceptable here in Canada. Yeah.
Do you think your life would have been different if you grew up in the Philippines?
I think so. I think Philippines has a lot of prejudice and a lot of stigmas and a lot of just different values and interpretations to like certain things that Canada deems very very important. I think there is some sort of discriminations that in Philippines that matters, and also like the way the government is run in the Philippines is very very different from Canada. The politics, I don't know. Politics is very weird in the Philippines.
When last were you in the Philippines?
Oh, I haven't been back since I came here. No, my parents have, but I have not gone back since I came to Canada.
Are you the only child?
I have 3 other siblings, 2 older ones and 1 younger one.
How did they experience the migration? Because you were 10, so your older ones are older than you, and maybe at a point where they were more aware of some of the implications to their lives.
Yeah.
Of the move.
Yeah. The 2 older ones, my 2 older brothers. One is 5 years older and one is like a year older than me. So I'm not sure how different it was for my brother that's a year older, but for I think my brother, the eldest brother, I think he was very aware of like the implications for it. Because for me, I was just like, oh, we're moving to this new country. I'm all excited. I'm not really sure when I'm gonna see my family, like my family from Philippines again. But like, I was very excited to move to a new country because my parents have been like wanting to move closer to another, like to our extended family, which is mostly my mom's family who had immigrated to the US. Yeah, I think my oldest brother was really aware because I think he was someone who is very caring, so he was very aware like of everybody's kind of like emotions as they where we were moving to Canada. So he's very emotionally connected to everybody in the family.
Does he talk these days about visiting or going back to the Philippines?
Not often, no. The funny thing about my family is I assume that we're all very much kind of like insanely introverted. And for my oldest brother, since he's a chef, he's really never home as often. Communicating with my brothers has never been difficult, but sometimes when it's serious stuff, we never really talk about it. So whenever it never really gets brought up whether he wants to go back to Philippines or not. But I think I'm not sure if he is wanting to, just because I think he's found his kind of niche here in Canada.
When you talk about the hesitancy to like bring up when it gets more serious, do you feel like that has anything at all to do with migrating to Canada and all that it implied for your family and the layered experience? I mean, it's really good, but there are also probably some really challenging aspects.
Yeah, I think as a family we were never really like very communicative. So it's not that we're not close. It's that uh, we're more actions. We do things more through actions rather than words. So that's how we express ourselves. So do talking feels really awkward for us. Like we do talk, it's just that it's never like a conversation where it's like super serious.
How do you feel like your parents experienced the move to Canada?
I think it's for my parents. I think they did their best. I I know that for a fact because of how hard it was for them, because they had been trying to get like to migrate closer to like the U.S. So I know they've been trying that for a while, and that I know for a fact that because my parents want us to live like a good life without worrying too much while we were like kids, was like they often worked. And because of the fact that they often worked, it was hard to kind of learn how they were dealing with it, because oftentimes when we do come home, they're not home because they're working. Because I know before I started university, both my parents worked two jobs. And then when my eldest brother started working, he mostly communicated with my mom. Most of the communications were through him and my parents, and they communicate a lot. Like I know that despite the difficulties, my mom wants us to be like very a close knit family. Yeah, my mom is really trying her best. My dad is doing his best too. He's just like, because he works graveyard shifts, he's often asleep when we're awake. So yeah,
What's graveyard shifts?
Graveyard shifts are like it's like the evening hours, so like 10 to like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. kind of stuff. Yeah. So oftentimes he's not home at night, but like he tries his best to like be there. He's the jokester in our family, so he does a lot of like dad jokes, the pranks. He's the dad who's like always, I think I inherited from him. He tries to make everything unserious. So yeah.
So I wonder, in the Philippines, what did they do? Like, was the quality of their life in the Philippines one that you would say was really good?
I would say so. My mom had a very stable job in the Philippines as I think, in accounting. I believe she worked for the government. My dad also worked for the government, but I never knew what his job actually was. He always says he was a bodyguard, but I don't actually know what he did. I think what made it difficult for them, the move, was leaving behind like family as well. My dad's side of the family were all in the Philippines, but even then, kind of like, I think they were really happy that they got to move to Canada.
And they probably still are, because they're still here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think they are very happy here. Just that because of all the, I think most of it that played is the healthcare. The healthcare system is really great. For them, I think now that they're getting older, they're starting to be more aware of their health. So a lot of it is just like conversations about managing their weight, managing their like kind of like food intake. My mom has been telling my dad to stop eating chocolate because of his because he eats a lot of chocolate, and they've been like cutting back in a lot of just like fatty foods and stuff.
Would they have lived this type of life in the Philippines? Exposure to so much chocolate, so many fatty foods.
I think it would have been different, because healthy diets are popular in Philippines, but like it's kind of like a free for all when it comes to food. So as long as it's something that's been cooked, everybody will eat it. Like if say most of the dinners are like cooked together, so if one person cooks and then everybody has to eat it, like even if you don't like it, you'll have to eat it.
When you say everybody, like the entire family, or like the family and the extended family?
I say family and extended family when it was in the Philippines, just because when we lived there, we were neighbors with my parents' siblings, So it was like an attached house. It was
So
like
your
big.
uncle and aunties?
Yeah, so my
Oh,
uncle and
that's
my
nice.
aunties were there. My cousins were also there. My grandma, before she passed away, was also there. And because of the way how communities work in the Philippines, my auntie, who was like kind of like in charge of the section we were in, she was like the highest authority there. Most of the times, whenever it was like a big celebration, everybody like in the neighborhood would come out and just like feast. So yeah,
So much food.
yeah, there's so much food. Like everybody would bring. It was like a big potluck party. It's like bringing your own food and like contributing.
And it would be everyone sort of from the same lineage, because it's like aunties and uncles that have married other people that are living in.
Yeah,
Like,
something.
shared.
Yeah, something like that. And then sometimes we'll have our family from like outside of the city will come in and just celebrate with us. Sometimes it's people that do come in to live there, like renters, like people who are like living there, bought like a house and stuff. But yeah, a lot of the times we were very close with the people, like the neighbors, because since it was close to a university, there was a lot of dorms as well. So there was a lot of college students and like families that had like children who were attending the school there. Yeah, I think because the school district that was right beside us, it was a university with a kindergarten to grade, I don't know, I think they had until grade 8 back when we were still there, to grade 8. So it was like a combined university with middle school, high school, and preschool.
Entire package.
Yeah, it was in the entire package. And it was also doubled as a hospital, so there was a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors there as well. So yeah, it was like a big like school.
You see, that sounds so much more community oriented.
Yeah, it was
than-
very community oriented compared to Canada.
Because you moved primarily also to be closer to your mom's side of the family. When you moved here, have you stayed? Has your family stayed as close to her side of the family as she initially desired?
I would hope so, because of the time zone. The difference in time zone from US to the Philippines is like 12, 13 hours. So I think she's able to be closer to them through just messages, because the time zone isn't as different.
Yeah.
And yeah, we visited them back, I would say 2013, 2014, when we celebrated Christmas with them. And that was like the biggest event that we had. And then she visited them again a few years later. And that was around exam season for like high school students, so most of my siblings and I couldn't go, but that's okay. But yeah.
But I wonder if your mom sometimes misses the community that she had in the Philippines.
I would say yes, but also because of the internet, the majesty of internet. They're able to just like, they have not Instagram, Facebook groups, Messenger group chat where all like the families are in, and it's just like always like updates. They'll make like video calls and everything. So I'd say they're still as close as before because of that, having the internet to like communicate with them.
What would you say that in this current phase of your life you're discovering or identifying about those two different parts of yourself, and how you participate in the world because of those two very strong identities that you have?
Yeah. Considering how different it was here, I feel that when in the Philippines, I definitely have a different side to me.
What side?
I would say it was more communicative, not communicative, but more community based. So I think if I was in the Philippines, I would have become much more extroverted. But like, and that personality of mine always shines whenever I'm like around people, like during events, like when I'm volunteering. That usually comes out, that extroverted Filipino side of me. But when I'm in Canada, I'm definitely more introverted. I tend to like be more recluse, be more quiet, especially in class and in like participating in like group projects or anything that involves kind of like any type of class or schooling.
You can't be your social.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to be social in like a classroom setting. Like I think it's more because of just like a difficult time connecting with the people around me, and also because I'm not sure what their interests are, so I don't know if I can communicate with them as well. But like when it comes to like events, I don't have to, find that common ground where
You already have one.
yeah, because we're both there for the event, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big common ground now. So yeah, I don't find it as difficult to communicate then.
It's very interesting. I have never heard the story of a Filipino immigrant, so I'm very grateful to hear your story today because there's lots to learn from people and the stories that they share and how it's shaped them,
Yeah, for me, I think I think my high school, middle school years definitely helped me shape who I am today. Not that university hasn't changed me, but like I find that middle school to high school has definitely affected how I became who I am in university.
How so?
I think for the most part it's because of identity. In the Philippines, identity like gender, sexual orientation, mental health, stuff like that wasn't really talked about. So when we came here and all these topics that I was unfamiliar with were brought off, I became more questioning and I'm more aware and I'm more like, who am I here and what kind of person am I and how am I going to be, like what kind of values would I want, what kind of beliefs do I have, and how is that going to change me as a person. I became more how to say introspective when I came to Canada because it's a lot of it is just more identity, finding yourself, and more independence and like thinking and making choices by yourself. I don't think it's different in Philippines, but I think a lot of the decisions you made back in the Philippines were always affected by what your parents say. So yeah, I think it's a lot more.
And what your family would say too, because your family, the family unit wasn't just you, your parents. It was like you, your parents, your auntie, your uncles, your grandma.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting because, in Filipino culture, families often stay together, and when they get married, they oftentimes they still
stay together.
And it's fascinating because then that gives you a chance to stay close to like cousins, to people that are within your family, and your uncles, your aunties, and then your cousins children. You get to know them, you get to understand them, you also get to take care of them. I remember when we went to the United States for the Christmas. It was 2013, 2014. We had a big party with all of my family's, all of my mother's extended family, and the cool thing was they lived in Anchorage, Alaska, and the cool thing was they had a common house. So even though they were living in different houses, there was a common house where my grandparents from my mom's side, it was like a place where they could go and live whenever they want. So if it was a house where if you needed like a place or a space that, and you can no longer afford like your old house, you could move back there and just like live there.
That's right.
Yeah, it was like a really nice house too. And the thing was, when we had party, everybody was there. Everybody like slept there. Everybody partied there.
Wow.
It was fascinating because at midnight, we had we would order Taco Bell and we would just like feast. Like we would order a bunch and then it was just like, here.
Who paid
food.
for it?
Oh, I don't know. Someone did, but it wasn't me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely a big party. Filipino parties are kind of insane.
I only know Filipino culture for really good food. Like when I think Filipino culture, I think, oh, they have such good food,
Yeah.
the spring rolls,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the spring rolls is just the scratch of like how good the food gets.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and if you ever end up finding yourself at a Filipino party, they have so much games. Everybody will play games and games. Like, it's like interactive games. Like, I remember this past Christmas, we had this game where they had like goodies inside us. What are they called? Those saran wrapped. So they saran wrap it into a ball. So the challenge was that you're wearing like those mittens, and you roll a dice, and whoever, if you get a double, you put on the mittens and try to rip apart the saran wrap to get the presents. And then it would go around for everybody. Like everybody will roll the dice, and as soon as you get that double, you exchange the mittens and you rip it open. Yeah. So it's fascinating because
you can't do anything.
Yeah.
How do people come up with this game? Is this a tradition that, because I've seen another Filipino friend who probably migrated here around the same time that you did, or maybe slightly earlier, but when they were still kids. And whenever their family does Christmas, I'm like, I want to be invited because it looks so fun.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it's a tradition, but I think it's just like they want to make all Filipinos' goal is Christmas needs to be festive. So adding in like games like that.
Well,
makes
Canadians like to play more like board games.
Yeah.
You know, like we read the rules and then we follow the rules as we play.
Yeah.
But this type of Filipino game...
No, it's chaos.
It's chaos because you make the rules.
Yeah, you make the rules as you go.
You make the rules and then you sort of like just
go with it.
Like, you know, and it's chaotic fun, but it's really, really fun.
Yeah. It's also very different here because in the Philippines, fireworks weren't illegal. So it would be...
Are fireworks illegal here?
They're not, but like they're controlled by like you have to get permission and stuff. But in the Philippines, everybody could get fireworks. Like you just needed to buy it at the local store, and then you can lay it all out.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the Philippines, my parents would always buy like fireworks, and then they would set it off them all, like with the kids in the safe distance. But even then, the kids had like those little poppers that they could use. And then light up like their own like little fireworks. That was allowed. Like I remember playing with fireworks and getting like some of my clothes burned because of the fire.
That was a scare.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because like I was used to like loud, like really loud fireworks because it was just like on the streets, like everybody was there watching the fireworks. Like so I remember vividly like the whoosh or like the hiss of like each firework going up and then like boom. So I watched it very up close back then, and whenever we did have games then, but it for the most part because it was such a community, everybody was there and we would have karaoke offs. So
what's karaoke offs?
So we would compete whoever got like the highest score in a karaoke box, and whoever got the highest score would get like money. So that was like our karaoke off. So those were the things we did in the Philippines. But here, because there's no fireworks, it was only mostly indoors, and it's freezing here, so we can't do it outside.
So what was your first holiday like away from the Philippines?
It was very different, but it wasn't. It was just as boisterous because of the family we had here. Everybody was invited, and we would all eat together, kind of just like chat, socialize, and get to know each other more. Back then, because we were still kind of young, we didn't do like intense games, but we did play like Mario Kart on like the Wii system and stuff like that. We would play that with our cousins.
Or your cousins came, or your cousins were around in Winnipeg?
Yeah, my cousins were around in Winnipeg. And when it came to gift giving, a lot of the times they had this rule where kids who were 18 and below 18 at least, would get presents from everybody that were like above 18. So our presents were piles because it wasn't just from our parents, it was also from our aunts, our cousins that were older than 18. Yeah, I think it was different, but they made it so that we weren't like lonely or anything. I Christmas made me remember when we first came here, my uncle convinced us that there's a thing called Christmas pumpkins. And so it's because he decorated a pumpkin that they never carved for Halloween and decorated it with like
red and green.
Yeah, like decorated with like Christmas lights. And I'm like, what's this? Oh, that's a thing in Canada. We do Christmas pumpkins. I'm like, are you sure? I learned that he was lying, but he tried to make it so that it seemed like that. Yeah, when we first came here, we lived in our auntie's house, so we stayed in like one room, like 5 of us. It was very interesting.
Do you call every older person auntie and uncle?
Yeah, that's like common in our culture to just call somebody auntie or uncle. Especially even it didn't even matter if it was like if it was a close family friend, they end up being our aunties and uncles.
Do you still do that here?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. One of our people that my auntie invites is a close family friend, and I just end up calling them my auntie and uncle. I even call their child my cousin now at this point because like there's no distinguishing it anyways. Like they're always here, so she might as well be my cousin. Yeah,
that's so welcoming.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll go back to volunteer, to visit with your family, to just tour?
I think I would. I would definitely go back when I have the chance because, well, I think the only challenge is the weather because in the Philippines it's like summer all year round, so it's gonna be like really hot. Yeah.
How do you think they'll receive you in your more Canadian version of yourself?
I think it will be the same. I think they'll tease me about like just as usual, like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a this and that? And like, oh, I think it will be the same because a lot of Filipino families are just very welcoming. Like it doesn't matter whether you're related to them or not. Because I know one of my aunties, she does one of them does foster care and the other one does hosting international students coming in for like high school students. So she does that. She like does like as a kind of like a high school host. Yeah, she does that, and it's really interesting because they try to include them in everything. Wow. So like in the past Christmas party, they were there. And they participated in the games that we played. So
and it must have been so memorable for them.
I hope it was because it was so chaotic. I was watching that and I was like, are you guys good? Yeah, they were having so much fun. I was like, yeah.
Are most of your friends here from the Philippines as well or from everywhere around the world?
I would say a lot of the friends I've made are from various cultures. But I think that was just back in high school though. Here, my best friend is Filipino, but because I've become more recluse when I came to university, I think the people that I talk to are people that I've known since high school. I do communicate. I do try to communicate with people like outside of that kind of like comfort zone of mine, but like it doesn't really devolve into something more than just like acquaintance or like it doesn't become like super close friendships.
Why would you say that happens? Like, do you know? Because I didn't go to high school here or middle school, so I also do not have context for how these things play out. And when I got here, I'm an immigrant myself, so I was obviously very far away from home. And so I was like, I need friends, so we're gonna make friendship happen. But if you did your high school or middle school here, then even though there is pressure to like make new friends, you at least still have that support network to sort of like hold your hand. You hold each other's hands together like through university. But when it comes to like actually making other friendships with newer people, like evolve into something more, why do you feel that for whatever reason it just is so difficult to like make that happen?
I would say it's part of my personality. I communicate best through text, and I'm very like it takes me a while. Like I'm slow to warm up to people. So for me, I need to be within a space where I know them long enough to consider them a friend, a close friend. But because how university works, of like you don't see them constantly, you don't see, like, even if you go out together, it's just like it's like minimal contact really. So I think I find it very very difficult to make close connections because I don't have that time that I spent with them to be close enough to consider them a close friend. Like even I meet people that like I became acquaintances with, and like we'll talk like we're normal, like we're close friends at this time, but like not so that it goes towards like where I will actively ask you to hang out. Yeah, I think, but like that's the same with my best friend. I don't actively say, "Hey, you want to hang out on this day?" I'm like, I don't pursue like going outside. I'm more of an indoor person, so if we're gonna hang out, I need to be told in advance. It's like, tell me 2 weeks in advance, please. I need to prepare myself to be like able to go outside and be like, hey, let's go.
Yeah. How did you prepare yourself for this interview?
How did I prepare? Oh my gosh. I was fretting a little. I was like, okay, make sure not to say something strange or something like that. No, but like, I think it's more of just like I needed the time to know that I will be talking to somebody for like a long period of time. But yeah.
To be very honest, I also felt anxious about this because you're the first person I'll interview that is not somebody I already knew. Oh. So I've been talking to people that I might not be so close to them. They might be an acquaintance, but at least I know them.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just got me thinking about like celebrities who like interview random people that they meet like that day. And I think that no matter how much you meet different people, there will always be some kind of like low grade social anxiety of, oh my god,
am I sure I can do this?
Yeah, am I sure I can do this?
Yeah.
Like, and even more so for like being in university and making friends, and it's tough. But I wonder if you were in the Philippines, and I'm continuously drawing us back to the Philippines because that's what this is really about. Like just thinking, what would life have been like if I was in the Philippines and I was in university? Will the experience be the same? Like from your older family members, what was it like being in university for them? If they went to university in the Philippines or in the US, it's be different. But if they did in the Philippines, like what was it like for them making friends, keeping friends? Yeah.
I think it would be very, very different. I think for my oldest brother, he would have been maybe able to make more friendships. For the most part, I think I'm the first in my family to go to university. My mom took some courses in Red River, but that was it for like accounting, and she graduated. But like that's the biggest like university experience that they had. My dad dropped out of university in the Philippines, so I don't know what he's doing. But he did study to be an architect. But like because of like how the courses were, he didn't fit with like how the system was working. So he was like, oh, I don't want to do this. So, a lot of my siblings.
You feel pressure because of that?
For my schooling, not really. Like for the most part, graduating is like the only goal for my parents. I think they just want to see me graduate and like start working finally. Just kidding. I do have a partner. I think she just wants me to start working like full time. But because both my older siblings went straight to the workforce and didn't go to school right after, I think it's very different for them because they're always like earning and they're always outside and just like kind of like more involved in like society than I am.